the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. There are two small additions to the agenda. When we approve the committee rosters, we're going to add the Tech and PR Committee. And during our parks discussion in the 8 o'clock hour, after the Arbor Fest discussion, we're going to discuss a letter of support from the CAC to the state for the NCIL capital budget request for additional lighting on the Whetstone Field. So those are the two additions that I have. Thank you. Are there any additions from other commissioners to tonight's agenda?
One correction, Stephen Hardwick pointed out that at the top it says a live stream recording will be made available on Channel Control on YouTube. That's not correct. We do a recording and then post it right after the meeting. So there is no live stream going on.
Thank you. Any other additions or corrections to the agenda? Is there a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
Move it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Thank you so much. We'll go ahead and move on to district updates, starting with Commissioner Morris.
Mark Morris, District 6. Not much to report. The only thing I did was I attended the blueprint meeting for Walhalla Review, and I was very happy with the adjustments that the city made to the plan. Just one minor correction. It's not Danish, but it's Dutch. The Bonaire, and not Bonaire, but Bonaire. The people from Blueprint made a shout out to David Portero, who made an argument for the concept of Bonaire, which is where streets are for all. They're shared by cars, pedestrians, and cyclists, where pedestrians and cyclists have priority, and cars are guests, and they envision to do something similar in Walhalla Ravine, which I think is appropriate. It's used more by pedestrians and cyclists than by cars.
Thank you. Commissioner Miller.
Yeah, just a couple of things for District 9. We have a few neighbors who have put together a grant application for Wildlife Ohio and or Central Ohio, and that's for a pollinator garden, 2 traffic circles that are on Stanton Avenue. And so they're making some progress on that. Excited to see some progress there this spring. I've also had several neighbors reach out to me, businesses and residents, curious about what's going to happen to the former CVS at Broad Meadows and High Street. It's vacant right now since November. I've heard a few rumors about some things, but I have not seen anything official. So looking forward to see what's going to happen there. That's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner Kroll.
District 4, Hugh Kroll. The City Recreation and Parks Division is going to be burning the prairie, doing a prescribed burn of the prairie this spring, which should be really interesting. It's the natural way that prairies evolved, and it's very nice to have that burn take place because it'll get rid of a lot of the invasive plants that are down there. They're going to be putting up signs around the neighborhood that say prairie burn to take place within 90 days. I'm not sure what other details there are, but anyway, should be an interesting event, and everybody is welcome to come down and observe.
Did you say the 9th? Is that?
Oh no, there's no date.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
The bylaws, the commission bylaws have been updated and published in the city record. That happened late last week. I also attended the Walhalla public meeting. It's the new layout and reduced head wall length seemed well received. And then finally, the planning for Arbor Fest 2024 is proceeding apace. I've been talking to the Green Spot Committee and the CRPD about how to obtain the event permit, and that's the subject of a resolution that I'm going to be putting forward near the end of the meeting. That's it.
Thank you. Commissioner Hagley.
Josh Hagley, District 8. I attended the grand opening and the ribbon cutting of Jenny's Diner, just south of North on House Street, with a few other commissioners. And I've been back at least once since. And we'll probably be returning within the next week or so again. So a welcome addition to the neighborhood.
Brittany Holden, District 5. I also attended the ribbon cutting for Jenny's Diner, and I would note that that was the most social media engagement the CAC Facebook page has gotten since I started on the CAC. So big shout out to them. And in addition to that, just kept up with our regular social media and online posting for the last month. Commissioner Wada.
Paul Wada, District 1. Talking with people around the neighborhood, there was a very active civic association called UCAN, or the United Crestview Area Neighbors, and it's been kind of slowed down in recent years, and there's been interest in getting that going again. The highlight for as a parent was the Halloween parade, which took place right in my house. There's an interest also in like an Earth Day tent giveaway, so I'm kind of coordinating with UCAN folks who are still active, and there's some opportunities there. I attended the Columbia Gas presentation last night. I think it was well received by the people there. Commissioner Nutter and Osborne were there as well, so that's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner Nutter.
Greg Nutter, District 2. I also attended the Columbia Gas presentation last night. I attended both meetings, one for East Weber and also for West Weber. I was impressed with their presentation they were presenting, and we will hear more about that next month. And I think it's pretty much aligns to what the residents in that neighborhood wanted. So I think that's good. I know the first meeting they had, they presented basically drawings that one of the residents had put forth as a proposal. So they were more impressed with this second version of it. So other than just a few more ornamentations of the building to make it more residential than a commercial building, I think that we're on the right track with that. So I do want to shout out, as you know, in District 2, I like to recognize good neighbors. So I would like to recognize those neighbors that got together and put together that proposal. I think was great. And it just goes to show that people in Clintonville, when there's a need to do something, people get together and come up with proposals. So I think that's very awesome. So the other thing I would just want to point out to y'all, if you noticed that the sign is up at North Broadway High, the 3400 building, okay, which now welcomes you to Clintonville, and the time and the weather and the date, so which is, I think, a nice addition to that. The other thing, as far as going on West North Broadway, the property at 201 was approved by the city unanimously, 8-0, so we'll be hopefully seeing future development of that property in the near future. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner Osborne.
Yeah, Donnelly Osborne, District 3. I did attend the grand opening of Jenny's Diner, the Columbia Gas meeting last evening, and I would say that Columbia Gas has done a phenomenal job with just hearing what the neighbors wanted, what they want to look at outside their window, and they're taking that into account. So everyone seems on board with the looks of it, and it's completely different from what was first proposed. I would say, I hosted an annual fundraiser. Last year the funds went to NCIL. This year the funds are for the luminaries on East and West North Broadway to continue that for the next 2 years. That was a successful event this past week. And then I would say, out of everything since I've been on the commission, I had more feedback after the 3070 North High Street vote on the parking variance. That was more talk after the vote than feedback that we received before. So Stephen and I have been talking about that, just that everyone knew about it, but not many gave us feedback. And then once it passed, we got a lot of feedback from that. So that's all.
Thank you. Commissioner Wyman.
Nothing to report.
Thank you. Thank you to all the commissioners for your district updates. we'll move on to approval of CAC meeting minutes. Commissioner Moritz.
Shared it twice. Once after the meeting, directly after the meeting, once just before this meeting. I got a few feedback, and I incorporated those. I think there may be some adjustments. Sometimes the updates from district updates are difficult to get. And then we make one more change, the gardens, pollinated gardens. Otherwise, it's good to go.
Point of personal privilege, if we could all help Commissioner Moritz out by sending him our district updates or specific streets or specific names, I think that would really help him with his minutes process. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Great, the minutes are passed from February's meeting. Commissioner Miller, do you have a treasurer's report this evening? Thank you so much. We'll go ahead and move on to updates from the city of Columbus, and we can start with, I see Catherine Cole over there. I don't think you're our new neighborhood liaison,
You're not,
but I'm happy to see you.
I'm always happy to come to Clintonville. Sure. Good evening, everyone. My name is Catherine Call. I am the Southside Neighborhood Liaison for the City of Columbus, and I've come bearing gifts. The Neighborhood Liaison for the North Side, so she serves Clintonville, or she will serve Clintonville, University, Short North, and 5th by Northwest. This is her 4th day, and she's drinking by a fire hose, so give her some time. I would say include me for the next month as we transition her, but she is an excellent addition to our team, and we're excited to have her.
Does she have a name?
She does have a name.
My name is Stacy Biddle. Nice to meet you.
An update for the new fiscal process. So as of now, the fiscal year will run through December 31st. If your budget exceeds your allotted $2,500, that is okay with raising. Obviously, they'll go to $5,000. But if you guys have some needed items and you want to make those purchases, please do so. Going through me and Stacy until she is fully on board. There will be no MOU and no closeout report. So for the treasurer, it's a very easy job. I will get you your current running balance. And the only thing that is still pending is area commission business cards, because I just have a copy and I don't have like an electronic. So if someone can get that for me, or if you.
Printers.
I've reached out to them and I've not heard back.
You've been reaching out for a while too, I feel like. Maybe we could check with our tech and PR committee too. They might have a backup copy. I'll make a note to
If not, the city department can always make the design, but I know I think you guys have a logo I'm sure you want to use.
It's not an approved logo, but yeah.
So just let me know.
It's thematic.
I will get that ordered, and it's a pretty quick turnaround
Okay.
once we get that.
Okay.
Electronic copy.
Thank you.
And those are my announcements for this evening.
Thank you
Good
so
to see you
much.
guys.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. We're looking forward to working with you. And I think I saw Mr. Pokuaboa in the back from City Council. Welcome.
How's everybody doing? Good evening. I'm Harrison Pokuaboa. I'm liaison for City Council. A few highlights from City Council that I have to share. Council member Nick Bankston put an ordinance to invest in public art and performing venues with Greater Columbus Arts Council. So if you have any passion in that area, please reach out to his office. Also, Councilmember Melissa Green invited the gay choir while they celebrated 34 years at council on Monday for them to be presented with a resolution. So we were happy to have them in the building. And then lastly, Councilmember Chris Watts also passed an ordinance to support the hybrid popular for tree farm. A few dates to keep in mind. So last year we used to have these things called Snack and Learn, which basically were opportunities for us to teach the community about different topics that the city council wanted to talk to them about. Now we call it the Academy Council. Last week we had our first one, which was on the operating budget to teach about the function and the process of it. So we'll be having our next one this month, March 27th. This will be at South High. And the topic will be how to be a vendor with the city, basically teaching folks how to want to be a vendor. And all that I'm saying, I'm gonna send it out in an email as well too, so you have it as well. And that will be happening March 28th. And then our City Council Northside community meeting will be held April 24th. And I am being biased, I did go to Northland High School, so we're having it at Northland High School at 6 p.m. But we'll have a flyer out and Facebook information, and we'll have our comms team put more information on it so that we can invite everybody. So these are the highlights of the City Council, and I'll be here for a while for your questions.
Thank you. Any questions from Commissioner?
Can you send me the, all these updates? By
Yeah.
email? Can you send me the updates by email?
Yes, I'll send it to you. Got you.
Any other questions? Yeah, Mr. Wyman.
As, with the budget, is any money earmarked for Clintonville?
They do have budget aside. I guess they're having a different style this time. They do have budget aside for every area, commission area. So we'll be having council members come in to specifically talk to you guys about. So, but they raise money aside for every area commission. So this year will be a little bit different. I know every year we do tell them that they're sending what their wishes are. I know we call it the thing called the wish list. So, but this time they're trying to be more strategic on all the wish lists. So yes, they do have money aside for them.
What happens at the Northland High School meetings? Is it just a city council focused on the north side?
We normally have it all over the side, north side, east side. I think last year we had it at the Roses over here. So this year we just picked Northland High School as one of them. So it wasn't no, like I said, I was being biased because I went to Northland. I was like, all right, let's have it in Northland.
So there'll be the different departments, like we
Yes.
round robin everybody
Yes.
last time.
So Tim, we'll have all the 9 council members. So we got 3 new council members who are kind of new. So this will be your first time engaging with the community. So it'll give the community a chance. If you've been chasing or hunting a council member down, this is the best place to like sit down with them face to face, let them know what your issues are, and they'll let you know what direction or how they can help you out with.
And I'll plug, a few of us went last year, and it was a really, really great way to get one-on-one time with the council
Yeah,
offices. So I highly recommend it to all the area commissioners as well as all the
Very
neighbors.
good, yeah.
April 26th, you said?
April 24th.
24th.
Yeah.
Any questions from the public? Great, thank you so much.
No,
It's been
no
good to see
problem.
you.
Thank you.
Do we have a representative from the city attorney's office? Okay, and I don't see Officer Brown or the fire department.
He's on vacation.
He's on vacation, that's right, thank you. Fantastic, so we will go ahead and move along to Chair Stephen Hardwick of Zoning and Variance Committee.
Thank you. Our the selection of our vice chair, the rules, and then just a request from the committee to the commission about some future deliberations. But I know the change document I sent you is not as good as I would have liked because this was my first attempt trying to use Google Docs instead of my Mac software, which no one who doesn't have a Mac can use. But the one thing is clear, our official recommendation is the one that's titled at the top, Committee's Recommendation to the Clintonville Area Commission, February 28, 2024. So if you have any proposed changes, that's the document to suggest making it to. Most of the changes were just cleaning things up, but there were like changing, having the same language for district commissioner, for committee chair, for chair of the person designated for technology. So we said things to, so it's just so those terms are consistent. We added treating people to our mission statement, to treating people with respect at the beginning, instead of, because just there were a couple of meetings that got kind of heated, and we thought we should just put it in there saying everyone gets treated with respect. As to the rule waivers, if we wanted to, if we need to waive a rule, we added a provision that said specifically we have to it has to be publicly stated at either the next committee or commission meeting. I can think of the 2 times we've used those. I remember using them as one where I had a problem getting things mailed out on a timely basis, so I got a rule waiver that allowed me to hand deliver the stuff over the weekend. And the last time when our committee didn't have a quorum, we moved it a week later, but I showed up at the regular time in case someone from the committee public actually showed up at the original time. Those are the kind of things we use it for, but we added the public disclosure. Instead of doing a mathematical formula for our committee meetings, we thought, why not just list the dates? Especially since a couple of them will change to avoid as much as I would have as someone who gets annoyed at having meetings on Passover and Hanukkah, as such, I would have loved to have a meeting on December 25th in revenge. I don't think anyone would show up. So we have to move on. But are there any, we did some, we could have changed, we added the city attorney's language about people, you don't have to be a member of the commission to vote. We actually added an additional time for commissioners to speak at the zoning meeting. You can just vote soon and near the end. Maybe that's important. And then instead of having a motion to approve, have some committee member make a motion, you followed your procedure that when it comes time to vote, the chair makes I'll make the chair will make the motion. And those were the main areas. If people have any questions, I think our commission should be proud that I don't know if we're still the only one with rules. Is there anyone else in the zoning committee have rules yet?
You have the best rules tonight.
I think we were the first to have rules, and because now we have the best rules. And I do think these are really important to show so that our applicants know what to expect. When people show up at the meetings now, we can say our rules, here's how we do things, that everything is written out. I like the idea that, I know we've had someone, the Department of Neighborhood's leader come and say, well, we don't need to hurry, you don't need to, but I do think that if we do things that, if we don't act in a timely fashion, those costs get incurred by our neighbors and their projects. And I want to make sure we do things that our bureaucratic inefficiency isn't the cause for delay. If there's substantive reason for delay, that's fine, but I don't want bureaucratic mistakes.
Yeah, Commissioner Wyman.
P, could that be in accordance with Robert's rules?
May discuss it.
The motion to approve is on the table. Committee members may discuss or ask questions to anyone in the room.
Well, I think we added that. I don't think Robert's rules allow us to ask questions, allow the committee to ask questions to people in the room.
Well, you can do it through the chair. Right. So it'd be Commissioner Wyman through the chair, may I ask? Right.
And I think if you want, I think we did that just as we are a less formal committee. We are, most meetings, and if you want to change it that way, that's your fine, but we're not just a business meeting, we're a community input meeting, and I thought formalizing the fact that if a committee member has a question, that they can go straight to the commission, they can go straight to the person they want to ask the question to. I think that a lot, I also am trying to not make the chair, I guess I could always call things out of order at some point, but I think people, I try not to make everything flow through me, and I try to give the committee members as much power, but if you think in your experience it would be better to have it come through the chair, I don't object to that. I'll trust, Commissioner Wyman is very good at meeting procedure, and that's one of his strong points. So if he wants to change that, if after what I've said hasn't persuaded him and he wants to change it, I don't object.
Do other commissioners have strong feelings about how committee members answer their questions during zoning and variance committee?
My experience on the zoning and variance committee, it never seems to be an issue, and I do agree with Stephen, and I think it does make it makes it feel less formal. And I think people are a little bit more honest when it's more conversational. It definitely feels more conversational when we go through the chair as a committee member to ask that question.
I just have this vision of some hot topic evolving into chaos. People just shouting out questions to people and they get bombarded, if it's another Chick-fil-A type thing or whatever it is. So I would rather have it be orderly.
The motion to approve is on the table, committee members. At the chair's discretion. Would that, if you put comment at the chair's discretion, would that?
So that you could wield that power if the room got spicy.
I object to that.
Okay.
I'm thinking of some past spicy comments or situations that we've had that the chair was very opinionated on certain topics in Clintonville and wouldn't let other members speak, so, I think it's gotta follow Robert's rules.
What do Robert's rules, I mean, what do they say about that?
So I think Commissioner Wyman's point is that Robert's rules would make all questions be asked through the chair. So the chair would have even more discretion, to your point, Commissioner Lee Osborne, if they were a political chair or a discussion squashing chair, they could potentially use that leadership position to squash discussion.
Sure.
So that's one
I guess
downside to the rule.
there are gonna be times when people are gonna be, I guess if things really did get hot, the whole point of the committee is to give people a chance to have their say. And I guess you have to hope that the chair will only cut things off when the heat outweighs the message. But
So is it, under this rule, is still the chair that decides who's talking or who asks a question? So there's still control of the chair in the sense that there's that commissioner, now that's committee member, now that committee member. So it's not that the committee members take the floor and then hold it.
maybe through the chair, maybe let's say through the chair, or just through the chair, and I don't know the Robert's rule at that point, if it's better to say, when motion is on the table, committee members may make or discuss, ask questions to anyone in the room through the chair. And then just then I guess, because we can always be a little loose, it's always easier to be a little looser and then go back to the rule if people are refusing it. But if I do trust Commissioner Wyman's parliamentary instincts, and if he thinks that needs to be changed to keep the meetings working, I will defer to him on that.
Not that great of a parliamentarian, but at the same time, I've been in meetings, and just evolved into just, some member keep asking softball questions to someone over and over again, trying to make their point, and it just, I'd rather have the chair than just control the discussion.
Does the chair have the ability to do that now, though?
I think he has a point. His point is that an individual member could take control of the meeting like that, and they, yes. And that's like,
under section F, the committee chair also has the discretion to limit the length of comment. So if discussion becomes unwieldy or unproductive, the committee chair does have the discretion, as well as under G, to limit public comment as it stands. So I think that this is already accounted for above, but I'm not opposed to adding it to E for extra clarity.
maybe one thing I also told the committee members is we get informal, but then emotion. So we get more informal, so that if someone thinks things are getting out of control, they can always raise a point of order, which is a privileged motion, and pull us back to the rules. So maybe it would be better to have the control of the rules, but with the idea that people it can be loosened as long as it's not being abused.
And I think Commissioner Lee Osborne, that point of order would address the scenario that you're talking about as well.
Which is under Robert's rules.
Right. So, as Commissioner Wyman suggests, what you change the exact wording to that you would.
I would just add after the period in accordance with Robert's rules. And that's all you need to do.
Okay. Comma, so after room, comma, in accordance with Robert's rules of order. Yeah. Okay. That.
Any other discussion from commissioners? Any questions or discussion from the public? Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Hardwick.
You need to vote.
Yeah, we need to vote. Do we have any other discussion on the table about the proposed zoning variance committee rule changes?
I have a comment. These rules are being shared, you mentioned maybe these are being shared in the meeting?
The rule, I'm going to include them in my email blast, but if we get a controversial meeting, I can go through and say, look, this is what the order is. And I have been trying to, when we have more complex things, tell people in advance what to expect. That's something that committee members thought. The district commissioner gets to talk, the committee asks questions, and we try to keep things in an order that the applicant has control of their own presentation, and the district commissioner, but we can probably print these off and at bigger meetings and just say, look, this is the order.
I'm just wondering if saying as, with Robert's rules is sufficient, because maybe not everybody is familiar with what the Robert's rules.
Should it be more specific?
Yeah.
Although, I think that when you get to that granular level, I think the public needs the broad brush. If they want to bring their own copy of Robert's rules. I guess I've never had to bring a copy of Robert's rules. I've never regretted that I did not have a copy of Robert's rules.
So you started your presentation with making it available to people so that they know what's going on. Of course, it's also kind of intimidating because it's lots of rules. When you have the committee meetings, you always explain the process very clearly. You just make it one pager that is available for people that come to these meetings. And of course, it's good to have it at hand, but it's not necessarily. It doesn't necessarily make it more accessible for people who come to the committee.
I think we could do the rule procedures for folks, and either print out one page or tell them in advance, walk them through the process. These tools are made so that applicants know what to expect, and also to hold me and the committee responsible for timely minutes, for timely decisions to get things out. So,
Any additional questions from the commissioners? Is there a motion to approve the updated zoning and variance committee rules with the addition to section P that the language will be in accordance with Robert's Rules of Order?
Make a motion.
Is there a second? Okay, we'll go ahead and do a voice vote. Commissioner Moritz?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Kroll?
Yes.
Commissioner Hively?
Yes.
I am a yes. Commissioner Lotta?
Yes.
Commissioner Nutter?
Yes.
Commissioner Lee Osborne?
Yes.
Commissioner Wyman?
Yes.
Unanimous, yes.
my committee asked me to communicate one other issue to the commission, possible for future consideration, is that we're starting to see the same things, similar things over and over again, and it might be worth either having our committee or a joint committee or the commission by themselves sit down and go through the common scenarios and decide, look, when do we want to approve a office over garage or living space over garage? When do we want to approve garage height variances, parking variances? How much, just think about these in advance. Just some thought so that we can be a little more consistent, so that a couple of commissioners being on vacation or getting sick doesn't change whether this project gets built or not, which can't happen. Which can't happen. Maybe just, I think coming up with some sort of structure, there's several ways of doing it. Asking the committee to do it, asking the committee in planning and development, or do it yourself, or set aside time in a meeting, do a separate meeting. But I think maybe that's a good discussion to put on your agenda in the future.
I'd be happy to welcome the discussion. I worry that our monthly meetings are so cumbersome, the agenda's already so cumbersome, that maybe it deserves a standalone discussion. If there's a light zoning and variance committee meeting month, maybe we can come to you. Could we talk about scheduling offline maybe? But I would love to explore that.
Okay, I can talk, but yeah, the committee was they wanted me to mention this, because also some of the things I thought were obvious, they thought were obvious, but what we thought were obvious were different things.
Yeah, and I would guarantee none of the commissioners want to give up any opportunity to really vet a project. So let's welcome a public discussion and find a good time to really thoroughly explore, but please share with the committee that we would love to talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah, Commissioner Moritz.
I feel like the zoning rules that are being changed will maybe answer a lot of Stephen's questions here for scenarios, because, when are we approving an accessory dwelling unit and when are we not? Conversation that Steve and I had this last month was, should zoning and variance have a threshold that they're not passing on parking variances? as I said in my opening comments, that I got a lot of feedback, but, you know, that was a 73% parking variance. So is there just a threshold that they don't go past without really looking at more? What that number is, I don't know. You know, Stephen was saying maybe we come up with that number, and I'm thinking maybe zoning comes up with that number, but I think it's still part of this bigger question that what are the main guidelines, like we'll approve a parking variance up to 50% or 60%, you know, pretty much any time, but if beyond that, we're gonna look at everything else around it, yeah, but it's part of the bigger conversation that I think that we do need to have probably a separate meeting scheduled for feedback to us on what the community does want on zoning.
I'm also a little hesitant because the zoning change is happening to
I know,
create
so it's like,
a process that might be out of date quite quickly.
right,
Ms. Paul, are there other commissions that have similar rules to what is being proposed where there's, that you
No,
can think
the
of?
only thing I can think of is Southside, you know, when we send out, demo permits, if no one objects, they automatically approve it within 3 days.
And we have a streamlined garage demo process where the district commissioner jurisdiction and the chair and the zoning chair can jointly agree to expedite a garage demo in Clintonville right now. I hope I represented that correctly, Chairman Hardwick. But yeah, I think it merits further discussion. Commissioner Kroll, if you see, and he's been working on the agendas for the full CAC going through for the next couple months in a much more thoughtful way than I did last year. To make sure they're balanced. So if there's one that looks particularly light, we could have that discussion here as well. I'm not trying to stop that from happening. I just want to be mindful of all the things that are coming up every month. But I'd love to have the discussion. And thank you so much for all of the work on the rules as well. They're fantastic. Commissioner Moritz.
Did you elect the vice chair?
Michael Haug, Haugh. And just, if you look at the votes of the zoning and variance committee, if there's someone who's consistently on the other side of votes for me, it's Michael Haug, so we try to keep.
Very balanced.
it is a balanced choice, yes.
Please congratulate him from us. Thank you very much, Chairman Hardwick. All right, we are actually doing well on time. We're gonna go ahead and approve our committee rosters. I would like to start with the Tech and PR Committee. And I have the roster right here to pull up. And I would like to, please open a PDF. Sorry, it's gonna take 1 second. Okay. And I would like to thank Ty Holbert and Eliza Pendexter and Ryan Bush and Ellie's Kern for getting together all of these bios that we've got great bios and slates for every committee this month. So thank you all for putting in all that effort, and to all the committee members for submitting all your info too. So you can read, I'm not gonna read out loud, but Ty Holbert has been chairing the Tech and PR Committee for many years. I don't think Ty's here tonight, but we do have other committee members in the room. Noah Faust has joined the committee this year. Thank you so much for volunteering. And is also on Green Spot, I believe, right? And I don't know that Casey's here. I met Casey last year. Casey expressed interest in joining. But you can see their backgrounds. They've got, great experience living in the community, and have already been putting in time on trying to help us update our processes for our website posting, our social media posting. And the Tech and PR Committee also helps out with publishing opportunities. So working with the Spotlight and getting the word out about different CAC initiatives. So really, really lean heavily on this team. I am not putting myself forward as a committee member because I'm hoping that I can start working with some of the committee members to start taking on some of the social media fun that I've been managing for the last couple of years. But I think this is a really great slate, and I will pause in case any of the commissioners have questions. I don't think Ty is here, but I'm happy to answer questions if there are any. Are there any questions from the public? Is there a motion to approve the Tech and PR Committee slate for 2024?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right, we'll go ahead with Commissioner Moritz.
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Kroll?
Yes.
Commissioner Hively?
Yes.
I am a yes. Commissioner Lotta?
Yes.
Commissioner Nutter?
Yes.
Commissioner Lee Osborne?
Yes.
And Commissioner Wyman?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Tech and PR Committee is approved. Bear with my ancient laptop. Go ahead and do Clintonville Green Spot Committee next. Thought I had these all open before the meeting started. All right, and I would love to see the floor to Chair Foshi and Co-Chair Annalise Kern. I know you captured some initiatives at the bottom of the roster as well. I didn't know if you wanted to speak to any of those as we consider the roster. You're welcome to do
Sure,
so.
sure. We take every opportunity to try to share tips at least about things you can do. In this case, it's winter time. So we're pretty green here in the Green Spot Committee. In the bottom, we talk about sealing your home. Keep out the cold air. It actually is really easy to do and find those leaks with even just your hand or other things. Picking up litter is something that we do very humbly all the time. That keeps it out of our eyesight, it keeps it out of our local waterways. Just want to remind folks that anyone can do that anytime, and it really does make a difference. And reduce, reuse, recycle is something you can focus on in the winter too. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Yeah, that was great. And thank you for sharing these great bios of everyone who volunteers with the Green Spot Committee. I did want to address, I know Commissioner Wyman last month brought up some questions around Green Spot being housed under the CAC, and I had the opportunity to talk to the Green Spot folks, and I think there's a lot of utility in the CAC's ability to reach more community members and promote the work that they're doing. I know Commissioner Kroll's been working closely with the Green Spot Committee and has kind of taken that under his purview. I don't know if you want to add anything else about kind of the CAC Green Spot relationship before we start considering the roster.
Yeah, I think the Green Spot Committee is a very, very strong committee and a great addition and complement to the commission's work in other areas. And they really are a very energetic bunch and very innovative, and I think very thoughtful about improving green spaces in our community and improving environmental quality. And I think in that way, they're a really important function of the commission.
And I know we've talked a little bit about the entity holding funds, and I think they've come up with some really great partnerships in the community that have existing 501c3 status that can steward dollars. But if you have additional questions, I didn't mean to call you out. If others have additional questions about the nature of the relationship, yeah, Commissioner Moritz.
I have a question. So Commissioner Wyman asked the question about the Green Spot, and I started thinking about it. So about Green Spot Commission. I don't know what motivated the question. But I started looking at the other commissions. To a certain extent, the Green Spot Commission operates on its own. The other commissions do service work for the commission. So the Zoning and Variance Commission does all the hard work of going through the variance applications. The Planning and Development Committee does a lot of work when you ask about capital improvement. The Tech and TR Commission does the media and the website. And so I was wondering if the Green Spot Committee could do also service work for the committee in the sense of, or for the commission, in the sense that a lot of the decisions we make have impacts for sustainability. At the East and West Weather meeting from Columbia Gas, one of the residents asked, so they put the fire to the feet of the Columbia Gas people, and they asked, so what happens with the demolition? Where the materials go, will be recycled. So a lot of the decisions we make as a commission, or decisions we voted to take on the commission, are about have implications for sustainability. So I wonder if the Green Spot Committee, could think more about what the implications are of, say, classroom variance or Walhalla, do more service for the committee. Or for the commission, because now it's like an entity of its own. Do great things for Clintonville, but not necessarily great things for the commission. So there's an opportunity there to do more.
To expand the role for like sustainability screening of projects coming to the neighborhood in a sense.
Yeah, and to a certain extent, I leave it up to, and so, when we had discussions about sign, and the sign at West or East North Broadway is actually quite nice. And when you vote on these things, you never know how things turn out. But the co-chair raised questions about lighting for birds and stuff like that. So decisions that we make and votes that we take about variances that have sustainability and environment implications would be good if there's guidelines from the Green Spot Committee. Because now it's great things in terms of pollinator gardens, but it's not, it's great for Clintonville, it's not serving the commissioners.
In the development decision making.
I think that actually sounds like a great idea. It sounds very similar to how the historical commission works with zoning and variance, especially like when they have a demo permit. Stephen always reaches out or sees to see if the historical commission has any input. It seems like Green Spot could do that for some of the decisions we make.
We're certainly happy to be involved in any project that has to do with sustainability. Our mission is just to increase sustainability in our neighborhood. So some of the bigger topics that have been talked about for the past several years, like Blueprint, the commission has wanted to take hold of and make those decisions. But we remain available to any topic or any subject. You can always approach the committee and get some help on sustainability.
I think we didn't want to step on toes or take the liberties that we didn't feel were ours. So if that is something that you're amenable to, we're more than happy to, we have lots of opinions, especially about development. And there are a lot of things that we can improve upon, even small things. And so if that's, advisory, even in an advisory capacity, we would love that.
So I was thinking an advisory committee to the advisory commission.
I am hesitant to create more layers, but I am extraordinarily encouraging of commissioners reaching out to Green Spot for these exact opinions that you're asking for.
Adding another,
Okay.
To clarify, I'm not adding another layer. Just like emphasize that we are an advisory body as well.
I see, clear, I got it. Are there other questions or comments from commissioners about the Green Spot Committee and its roster?
I still don't see how the Green Spot Committee is part of our charter duties. It's not, plays no role in how the commission functions and what it's supposed to do. When it was set up, when you saw those emails from DJ and them and the others, it was just set up first to get them some publicity, basically, and drive, members to them. We don't need to do that anymore. They're self-sustaining that way. They can get their own members. So I still don't see why, this is something that, I don't want to say I'm a small government guy, but I don't see why there is a need for this, to be affiliated with the commission, Clintonville Area Commission, when, they have their own parent organization, and I'm going to go back to the money again. Approval projects and things like that, they don't run those through us. They just do it. So let them do it. And they don't need to be, I just don't want something to come back on us, because ultimately they are one of our commissions, one of our committees. And I really don't see the purpose of it. I mean, if we're not going to have them sign off on different things, as Chair Morris, Commissioner Norris pointed out, that was the only positive thing I could see, was his suggestion. But if I'm unwilling to do that, then I don't see why. I don't see how they figure into any zoning and variance issues or anything like that.
Any other comments from commissioners? Other comments from the public? Any questions from the public? Yeah.
Actually, he has a very valid point.
I know your name, but could you say?
Oh,
it?
Sandy Simbrow.
Thank you.
Because I'm going back decades trying to remember how, as any neighborhood organization is more than welcome to come before the commission, before our committee,
with a recommendation, or in the green spot can come to a zoning invariance and say, hey, we saw, they have an opinion on something. They can come to the commission and say they have an opinion on something. But for them to be under the umbrella of the Clintonville Area Commission does seem a little outside. So I think that's a very valid point.
I appreciate Commissioner Wyman's thoughtfulness, and I appreciate those comments as well. I think that the Clintonville Area Commission, far prior to many of our tenure, has been at the vanguard of a lot of area commissions in how we structure ourselves and the content that we bring under ourselves. And I think that the Green Spot Committee offering that sustainability lens as we're considering development, and I think Commissioner Moritz's points about making that a more tangible connection are really valuable. I think that we're at the vanguard of the city by having them under our umbrella. So I appreciate the thoughtfulness, and I think that this conversation is helping us consider ways that we can strengthen that engagement. And I think my line of communication with Commissioner Foshi has been nothing but open and wonderful since I joined the commission before I was chair, as far as getting updates. So I welcome other comments, but I just wanted to share where I was at.
I have one comment, just comparing, let's say, Green Spot to the Kiwanis or Rotary Club. To me, Rotary International is a large organization. Green Spot's a large organization, and we don't have Clintonville Rotary. We partner with them sometimes. We talk about the tree lighting and various things like that, but we're not involved with them in their Peace Park and things like that with them under our umbrella. And it's kind of the same, following the thought process here with Green Spot also, that while we can partner with them, are we limiting them by having them? Or not? I don't know.
Yeah, I think the feedback I got from Green Spot is that the partnership is beneficial and not limiting. I know, obviously Kiwanis and Rotary are both 501c3s in their own right, and have their own fiscal charters and everything and bylaws. So I think they're structured a little differently. Other commissioners' thoughts?
I'd be curious if there's other, your feedback from, are there other commissions handling this? Or?
I was thinking about that. I don't think so. I know German Village pops in my head that they're a historic commission. It's kind of whatever the commission obviously wants to vote and agree upon, because we have commissions that do health and human services. Well, that's under the auspice of the charter. But it's just kind of what are the neighborhood needs, concerns, and interests.
Chair Foshi.
I'd like to say one last thing. The creation of our committee was out of a desire to do something in our neighborhood. It wasn't about somebody getting members. It's about protecting our environment, sustainability, and public health. That's why we exist. It's a value of Clintonville to work on these projects. And this venue is the closest place to the ground for City of Columbus. Our area commission is that venue. It represents Clintonville. There's no other thing that represents all of Clintonville. And being part of the City of Columbus, neighborhoods like Worthington, Bexley, Hilliard, Upper Arlington, they have their own sustainability teams. They're actually a municipality. We're proudly part of the City of Columbus, but it's a larger city, so this lets our neighborhood work on neighborhood projects in our neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
Does Green Spot do projects throughout Clintonville, or is it kind of focused mainly in central Clintonville?
Yeah, we've done projects all over. School for the Deaf, Women's Club, plenty of parks. We've just cleaned streets, cleaned 71 exit ramps, river cleanups. We've tried to get all over.
I know we're running up against our agenda and we need to approve Planning and Development Committee roster as well, so I would like to make a motion that I will move that we vote to approve the Green Spot Committee roster. Is there a second? And I'll do a voice vote. Commissioner Moritz?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Kroll?
Yes.
Commissioner Heidling.
Yes.
I'm a yes. Commissioner Lotta.
Yes.
Commissioner Nutter. Commissioner Lee Osborne. Yes. Commissioner Wyman.
No.
Thank you. All right, thank you, Green Spot Committee co-chairs. And the final committee roster that we will be approving tonight is for, voting upon tonight is for Planning and Development Committee. And I want to thank Commissioner Wyman for asking for bios last month so that we could have a thorough vetting of our volunteers. Go ahead and pull this one up. These were circulated to the commission, I believe, 2 days ago, so everyone's had a chance to review these bios. The chair is Eliza Dexter, who's highlighted right here. I don't believe she's in the room tonight, but I'm hoping that everyone on the commission has had a chance to review these bios, and the chair has confirmed that all of these residents live in Clintonville as well. Are there questions among the commissioners about these candidates for this process? Are there questions from the public? Yeah.
I don't see, Cindy's in row, I don't see on there the addresses.
Yeah.
And last time, the question or the concern I had was there was no representation west of High Street, that all of the members were east of High Street. And I don't know from looking at this roster, is that still true? Are all those committee members live east of High Street?
It's on me that I did not ask the chair to confirm that we've got west and east of High Street representation. I did ask each chair to confirm that the residents were from Clintonville. Some of our volunteers had asked that their addresses weren't listed publicly, because then when our minutes are scrubbed, people get things they don't want, either electronically if their email's up there or if their mailing address is up there. I think that's a lot to ask of a committee volunteer. So I cannot confirm that.
You can Google somebody's name, you come up with all kinds of information. But,
Sure.
so we have no idea whether or not the primary residential component of Clintonville, which is west of High Street, between, the fire pit and all that, we don't know if there's anybody on planning and development that lives west of High Street.
I don't know for sure that one of these people lives west of High Street. I'm not gonna make it up. Do you have other questions from the public? Is there a motion to approve the Planning and Development Committee?
Yes.
Is there a second? Okay, we'll go ahead and go with the voice vote. Commissioner Moritz?
Yes.
Commissioner Miller?
Yes.
Commissioner Kroll?
Yes.
Commissioner Hiley?
Yes.
I am a yes. Commissioner Lotta?
Yes.
Commissioner Nutter?
Yes.
Commissioner Lee Osborne?
No.
Commissioner Wyman?
Yes.
Thank you.
I would like to say though,
Sure.
I would like to see some rules.
From the
for
Planning and Development
community
Committee,
Development and Green Spot.
really putting us through the ringer. Commissioner Wyman?
These rules were promised to me some time ago, so.
The committee rules? We can pass that along to Chair Penn Dexter. Co-chairs Green Spot are here.
Can I say one thing real quick?
Sure.
District 6 is west of High Street. Is it not?
Oh, and they list their district in
Yeah.
there? So there is at least one representative. Thank you. All right, moving on to our next portion of the agenda. Do we have Craig Murphy from Homestead? Hi, welcome back.
Thank
for
you.
joining
I
us.
have a thumb drive.
Yeah. Do you want to drive or do you want me to do slides?
It's a PDF,
Okay.
so we can just move through it. Left hand. Great. Just gonna make sure I grab the right thumb drive.
This one.
Yeah, that's it. Great. Well, hello, commissioners. It's good to be back here. I'm Craig Murphy with Capital and Strategic Planning with Recreation and Parks. And I was here, I believe it was November or December, and kind of gave an overview of what we were looking at for multiple phases of improvements here in West End Park. And I said we'd be back, and the plan was to be back in December. And little did we know, we had a few regulatory hurdles to jump through, which were some, not zoning, but were some variances for the things we wanted to do. And and it took 3 months to kind of clear those, and so we're glad to have done that. So we'll go to the next slide, and I just want to kind of recap. We talked about there being 3 phases of improvements here in Clintonville at Whetstone. And the first phase has a whole bunch of projects, and I divide them between things that are happening at the community center and then things that are happening at the park. So what's been completed so far is that we've added 2 gym dividers at Whetstone Community Center that allows more activity to happen in the gymnasium. We've done green roof improvements, talked about that last time. Entryway plantings, those were done. I have some teammates here, and they were in charge of that project. And then we also just finished the auditorium stage floor. We made improvements to the wood flooring there and did a lot of replacement of that. In the park, we replaced the catch basins that were sinking. No one likes that on their car wheels or their bike wheels. I thought of you when I said that. The Hollenbach Road. And then we replaced bleachers at the Park of Roses gazebo. I think those bleachers were as old as I am, but I'm glad to have replaced those. We also just finished the fence project and gate and created bike access through the lot at Olentangy Boulevard and Ceramic. And then playground at Whetstone, and replaced 30 picnic tables, 2 grills, and 2 benches. Is that right, Michelle? Michelle was the project manager on that.
Yes.
Okay, so those are things that have been done so far. And I think the next slide is going to be things that are in process. Some of this stuff is, so the water line, that's just, nobody's particularly interested, but our staff who work at the maintenance shop are particularly interested in getting a water line in there. And then we're going to add 3 more bleacher sets at the Park of Roses at the gazebo. We tested it last year, worked really well, so we're adding more, and that was our commitment. On the community center, this is where it's kind of painful because we're doing a whole bunch of things at the community center. None of it is like super wow. It's just stuff that's going to be behind walls, under floors, in the basement. We're going to do the gym floor screening, which will make an improvement. But there's just a lot of foundation work that needs to get done, mechanical room stuff, things that people won't see. But on the HVAC controls, you were talking about Green Columbus. One of our commitments is around sustainability as well. So we're really targeting really hard right now to reduce energy consumption in our buildings. So we're tying in, and we've created this integrated system that all of our buildings are on one platform, and we can control those in the time of day in which things are running. So creating immediate impact in terms of energy efficiency. Okay, next up, continuing on phase 1. Actually, let me just jump to phase 2, and then I'll come back to phase 1.
Should I go down a slide?
Right here, this is fine right here. Phase 2 of 3, and this is actually what we're designing right now. We know the pond down at Whetstone needs to be improved. We have the sides that are kind of sinking in. It doesn't look very good. We're looking at that shelter as well. So that's a current project that's in design right now. And we will be coming back with some pictures to show, some ideas we have, some questions we have, and we plan to bring it back to this group. We're just now sort of unraveling that mystery. But we think everyone will be really pleased with the outcome of that project, and it should be a sustained long-term project as well. And then another big improvement is Hollenbach Road. That will be improved, and we'll be looking at how to make that more pedestrian-friendly, cycle-friendly, as well as that road is just really tore up and old. But we want to get through some other phases and then get to that road. So following up now on phase 1, this summer we plan to start the construction or the improvement of that northern field on the west side of Whetstone. So that is going to be closed, and I have colleagues here that will be talking about that in more detail in a little bit. I just wanted to run through the rest of what's going to happen this year as part of phase 1. Pavement resurfacing, so we're looking at resurfacing the entire parking lot where the enclosed shelter is, where Park Rose's shelter is. And then also we're looking to do, and across from that, the one that goes down to the turnaround along the shelters, the open shelters. So we'll be replacing that road as well. And we'll also be doing, at some point, I think it's in 25, we'll be replacing the Park of Roses enclosed shelter roof. That's, its life, is at the end of its life cycle. So you can go down one more slide now. So going to what those locations look like. We know the shelter improvement, that parking lot, and then driveway resurfacing is something else we just talked about. The field improvement is one where I think we have some soccer players here tonight as well who have helped inform us about what it would look like to have a really high quality soccer field at this location. And so we spent quite a bit of time. We know that this, so much of Clintonville, this Whetstone Park is in the floodplain or in the floodway. That's inevitable. But what also happens is just a heavy rain, the fields just flood. And it just stops everything from happening for days, weeks. And what we've done is we've hired an engineering firm to help us sort of set the site and allow drainage to occur. And within days, within a day, we'll be able to get back up, depending on how much rain, of course. But I'm going to stop talking for a moment and hand it off to Michelle Hilliard. Michelle is with the Recreation Parks, and she's a project manager.
Good evening.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Angela, you want to come up here, Joe? So Angela's from the consultant team, and we kind of went through this process together. I'll kind of go off what Craig said. I'm a project manager with Rec and Parks and Design and Construction. So we will kind of walk you through the plan and kind of what we're doing. There's not too much detail that we can explain unless you want to hear a lot about irrigation and a lot about drainage, but we want to present the plan to you and kind of what we're doing.
Should I go to the next slide?
Yeah.
Sure. So the North Field, you can see we worked again with the soccer team to try to make sure that there's flexibility for multiple uses. So there's two 11 versus 11 fields, and then there's another field that can get transitioned to an 11 by 11. But right now we showed two 7 versus 7 fields there. So allowing some flexibility up there for different programs or tournaments. The fields will drain to swales in between the soccer fields. We left enough room for people to stand and watch. Anyone who's been to a soccer tournament, there's just people everywhere. So we made sure there's room. The swales aren't deep. There's just enough to make sure we get the water moving. That area is pretty much just flat. So we needed to create some movement so we can get the water off of the fields. We're utilizing split slant drainage, which will help move the water through the soil much quicker as well. Again, allowing people to use the fields quicker after a rain event. We also will have irrigation. It will be from the pond. It will be, on rain sensors and make sure that it's only, used when it's needed. We also made sure that we're using a seed that is more tolerant to wear. So again, making sure it can recover faster. So that way, when you go to grass and lawns, you want to make sure it can recover quick, so that way you don't have to keep coming back and putting more and more fertilizers or products into it. So I was trying to think on that sustainable level of how does this, we know it's a turf field, obviously it's not the most sustainable option, but this is what it is, and how do we make it so that way it's the best that it can be for the community, but also for maintenance and all those areas. So that's,
yeah, I think that covers it.
Check that out.
I think you can stay on that. I think we just have a timeline that we can share, and then any questions.
Yeah, so it's out to bid right now, so we're trying to get in contract with a contractor, and then we'll go into legislation and get it approved by council, and we plan to start construction hopefully in May if everything goes through there. What did you say?
After the muscle center.
Yes, yes. And so construction will take place all summer long, and we want to seed by November, is that what we said, October?
That'll be earlier, it will be September.
Okay, so seed by September, so that over winter time it has time to kind of establish, and then we'll probably come back and reseed a little bit in spring, just to make sure that we didn't miss any spots, and then hopefully keep it closed through the summer of '25, just to kind of let it establish, and then hopefully have play in fall of '25. Anybody have any questions?
Are you bringing the sand-based soil for the fields, or are you just using native?
We're gonna use native, and then that's why we're gonna do the sand slit drainage, so it comes through and puts the sand slits in. They did a similar, over at the Clippers, stadium, so that way it drains quick, gets it down through the system and down into the ground. Yeah, Commissioner Yasmin.
I had a question for one of the slides that Craig went over when talking about the community center and pressure washing. Said the north side. I've had requests from people saying the east side, where the front door is.
Okay.
Because the limestone across the top has kind of black mold across the front of the.
That might be my mistake. I think with that, if we're talking about the same area, we had, from the green roof, we had like flooding basically from that for major events. And so we fixed the roof and now we're gonna pressure wash. So I'm thinking that it is east facing, but it's that north. I originally had it written as the 2008 edition area, and I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I'm talking about like the old,
so the original
original door, the limestone there is dark.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll take a look at that.
Any other questions from commissioners? Yeah, Commissioner.
What role are you playing in the baseball field lights?
Oh, that's right. We have talked with NCIL, and if the funds are awarded by the state, the funds would come to us, and then we would be the ones that do the design and then installation of those lights.
Any other questions? Yeah, Commissioner.
So will you come back with more plans about the Hollenbeck and cyclist pedestrian accessibility?
I don't think I have a choice. Yes, we definitely will. Looking forward to that. It's a little bit downstream. Our priority is this summer to get the current, phase 1 done. And then, yes, we're going to look at how to improve that. And it could be that we just widen somehow and create some sign. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But we'll work together on that. The thing we really want to get back to you on is the pond and the plan for that and what that's going to look like. And then also that shelter and how to think about that.
And we're also planning to enhance that stream as well. The stream that is
right
west.
That runs from the pond to the river. Yeah. All that natural area.
It's kind of washed out if you look at it right now.
Yeah, we got to do some improvements there.
Yeah, Coach Aaron.
Will you be using any clover as a natural nitrogen fixer to reduce your amount of fertilizer? So
not on the fields. That's just not what is for great soccer.
So turf would be the predominant one, but then you mix in some clover, and it's used a lot in native. I play soccer, and it's used as a way to make it a little bit more stable. Obviously, the turf grass is going to be a lot more stable for the long term, but the clover, just a small amount, can help to regenerate it between those games. Just something I've seen it used in native soil pitches, so something that
we can look into that. Yeah.
Any other questions from the public? I would love to know, are the soccer players going to be recognized during the end of your presentation? Or if not, can we recognize the soccer players who joined us tonight now?
They have been sitting for 2.5 hours. Yeah. So,
do some like jumping jacks or?
Maybe we have Mark.
Go ahead and stand up, guys.
Yeah.
And ladies, hello.
And we have soccer coaches too, so coaches are here. Thank you all. All right.
Thank you. As a tiny top Whetstone soccer mom, and this is like making me feel a lot of emotions right now. Great. Is there one more slide we should go through, or?
That's it. I just I don't know if any of the soccer players. They did kind of coach us along in this process. We met with them before we started any planning. So I don't know if anyone wants to say anything. This is their big moment.
Please, we'd love to hear from you.
There you go.
How about, I'll give a little description of our club. I'm going to read on Stella and Keller to describe it. So I'm Mark Lundeen. I live in Clintonville, and I'm part of the Whetstone Park Rangers. We founded the club 5 years ago in May. So we're very excited to almost be at our 5-year anniversary. We inherited a pitch that no one was using and are delighted to call it our home. It's in our name. We play all over Central Ohio. We actually have some teams that are playing around the state now. We joke that we recruit a 20-block area, which we know as Clintonville, whereas we play against teams that recruit multiple counties, right? So we're really proud of our group, our organization, keeping it local, keeping it affordable, keeping it Clintonville is really our goal. And, you know, we've been delighted to have some wonderful players that now have reached the stages of playing for high schools, like Coach Noah's team and others. So maybe Keller, Stella, if you could say a little bit about your team, how important this project is to you. Yeah. All right.
Hi, I'm Stella, and thank you for considering this because we love soccer, and it's really important that we get new fields so we like avoid injuries and yeah. So.
Stella, what grade are you in?
5th grade.
5th grade. What school do you go to?
Immaculate Conception.
Wonderful. Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you.
Good to get off
Oh yeah, my name is Keller, and I feel like it's necessary to have a good field to play on, and something that on us.
It'll make a difference for you, right? It'll make
Yeah,
a
yeah,
difference.
it makes a big difference, like practicing. It's similar to field we play on.
How long have you been playing soccer?
Probably like since I was like 4, I think so.
Great.
For a long time.
Thank you so much for coming in.
I would say the majority of our kids that play in our club started at the Whetstone Rec League. The team that started this, Mark's was the coach. My son was on it and his daughter was on it, and they started when they were 4 years old and had this group that went all the way up, and then it got to a point where we needed a little more competition, but wanted to stay Clintonville. That was really, really important to us, and we wanted our kids to also play other sports and play baseball and NCIL and all this. So, you know, we didn't want to be traveling out of state and the cost of that. So keeping it local, like they said, it was really, really important to us. And these kids have stayed together. There's still a core group of 6 kids on this team of 15 that have played together since they were 4. And aside from just having our kids teams, we do youth clinics in the spring. We did an all-girls clinic in the fall. And these are kids that are playing in the rec league. And, you know, a lot of them are just donation only, you know, just come out and play. And they're run by the kids on the teams and all volunteer coaches, which is an incredible thing. We're playing teams that have paid coaches as that is their job, their full-time jobs, and we are competing evenly with these teams with volunteer parent coaches. And you know, some of these older boys teams and girls teams are playing all their games on turf, and we are practicing on dirt, you know, and that's okay until a certain level. And it's the kids deserve to play on a better field. And so we're just really, really fortunate to have this project keep rolling. So thank you.
And just lastly, to add to that, that's my wife Katie. I coach these guys as well with Mark. The thing about this field is I feel like it completes all the projects that this gentleman talked about. We find the baseball fields, the pond, the roads, the bike paths, everything is as important as the one next to it. We all enjoy the parks as much as just the soccer fields. We might be soccer coaches, but you know, we all want to enjoy the park. So this helps complete the park as a whole. it helps improve the whole park, and that's a good way to look at it.
Thank you so much. Do you have any other questions from the commissioners? Thank you so much for
Thank you
coming
very
today.
much.
Really appreciate your update and look forward to talking
We'll be
more
back.
about pond
Yeah.
back in the pond.
That's great.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. We're going to continue with the theme of.
Well, this is, Donna's
Oh.
going to read her letter.
Thank you for the reminder. We're going to talk about the NCIL letter.
I want to talk about that, but I need like a minute just to, because I'm conflicted on the request.
Okay.
Only because when we were talking last month, there was a request from NCIL for our support for lights on field 1 and 2, and then electric connectivity for a future concession stand. And when the funds are coming from a one-time strategic community investment fund, I think that this is our one time to ask for these 2 fields to be fixed to the level that I feel that they should be at. So if we just want to ask for lights, I feel that we should go to their web form and sign it as the Clintonville Area Commission and just do their web form. The letter that I have goes beyond that, and it talks about an actual concession stand and things like that. So I feel like the request is too small from NCIL. However, I spoke with Eric, and he was comfortable with keeping that request small. But I'm not in agreement with that, because I do feel like this is a once-in-a-generation request to get the 2 of the fields, field 1 and field 2, up to a certain level that would be similar to other suburban baseball fields and also other baseball fields in Columbus. So that's where I have my letter, but I don't know that it is what NCIL wants.
It contains what they want plus, right?
It goes beyond, yes.
If Clintonville Area Commission doesn't support the broader request, I don't know who is going to put it out there.
Okay.
So
You want me to read that?
I would love to hear your.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go from here. If you can pass it around, I'll start reading. And I address it to the Ohio legislators and city officials because that is what is on the NCIL web form instead of just directly to Mayor Ginther. I said, celebrating over 50 years of community enrichment, sportsmanship, and recreation, North Columbus Intramural League, NCIL, is an essential member of the political community and the surrounding communities with 750 ball players from 32 zip codes annually registered to compete in softball and baseball. Whetstone Park is the home of NCIL, along with 3 other area diamonds utilized during playoffs in 43214 and 43202. I put 8 fields. It's actually with our 9 fields, we are able to teach children between the ages of 5 and 15 lifelong lessons of teamwork, recreation, how to win and lose gracefully, and be physically active. It never fails. The baseball and softball season also is rainy season. In the current field configurations, one heavy rain can flood the fields, making them unplayable for days. Upgrading at a minimum field 1 and 2 with turf would allow games to be rescheduled and played throughout the weekend. Adding lights on these 2 fields would allow games to continue until 9 p.m., not end when the sun lowers to the horizon, and games frequently called in the last 2 innings for safety because the batter can't see the ball. Finally, NCIL is parent-funded and community-funded by local businesses. We need a revenue stream and a benefit for the families participating in the program. A concession stand with refrigeration, running water, electric for a popcorn machine, and an attached public restroom is a feature that the Columbus Park is missing. This building could be utilized and maintained by NCIL volunteers to help fund referee fees, uniforms, equipment fees, and provide a needed feature for the parents. 9 members of the Clintonville Area Commission representing the parents of players of 43214, 43202, and beyond request the funding to provide turf, pavement, lights, upgraded dugouts, and a concession stand as described above to Whetstone Park.
I appreciate so much you putting this together. This is a fantastic letter.
Oh, baseball, right?
I love it. I'm clearly showing where I stand. Do other commissioners have questions about the content of the letter? Yeah, Commissioner Moritz.
I have a question. So why did the NSCL not want to go for the bigger from last?
I don't know, but I truly can't answer that, yeah.
I just wanted to make a comment. I think when we discussed this, I don't remember if it was last month or the previous one. I think they did say that they would be okay with the broader.
Right,
Yeah.
and that was Eric, and I went back to him since I saw his request, and the web form is only asking for lights on 2 fields and future, electricity for a future concession stand. And I think that holds back these kids, especially during a rainy season that you really are missing several weekends of fall.
Commissioner Wyman, yeah.
I would just like to say that this is our letter, so whatever we want to do,
Yeah.
we do.
And there would be nothing stopping the concessions from being open during soccer games too, right?
Oh. Maybe tag team over. See, I'm not a soccer mom, but I'm happy to have where, the concession stands could be run, by the parent volunteers on both leagues, most definitely, yeah.
Any other questions? Yeah, Commissioner Moore.
So just a clarification, so when this, if we're so lucky, and there will be a concession stand, will then be part of recreation and parks, or will it be part of property of the NCO? Because it says here, will be maintained by NCIO.
I don't think we're gonna have rec and parks manning the concession stand. Usually at various locations. My other kid is a race car driver, and there's concession stands at racetracks, and those are run by the parents running that. I'm assuming parents would run these concession stands to do the popcorn and blow pops and bottled waters and things like that.
Any manned but maintained. So this will be part recreation and parks building. No? They will take care of the toilets. And
I don't know, but we'll have to talk to Greg on that.
Okay. I can speak on this. When we met with NCIL, it was really about the lights, bringing power, and potentially a scoreboard. Concession stands are something that we've not really been doing in a long time. And it's primarily because food trucks have kind of taken that place. And the maintenance operations costs and all those things really are extremely high for something that's operated typically, a few hours, a couple evenings a week or on weekends or whatever. And everyone, there's probably 900,000 people that hate us for this, but we really don't put restrooms in parks anymore.
Right.
It's an unfortunate situation in terms of the condition of things, the way things are today. But it's not something that we do. We do portlets throughout, and we do it seasonally. So our familiarity has been with, I think it's like a $590,000 request, and we were very comfortable with lighting and potentially a scoreboard if that could fit in the budget, and bringing power out for that component. So we would not maintain it. We wouldn't want to maintain it. And what happens a lot of times is, things get started and then they're left in our parks for, because organizations may lose, the power and the thrust around something. So we often are the ones that inherit it and have to maintain it, or close it and become a really sort of unpopular park system.
So let's say like at driving park, you have a turf field, you have lights, and there's a cinder block concession stand, bathrooms attached.
Yeah, I don't know the age of that or how
I'm
long
just
that
kind of wondering.
We have legacy items like that in our park system, but unless it's it's rare we ever build things like that. We do a lot of we're building the Kilbourne Run Sports Complex, and that is going to have food truck pads, and we'll have electrical conduits for those facilities. My daughters are all in soccer and sports, and all those tournaments have the same sort of setup.
Well, maybe NCIL can figure out a food truck thing. I don't know.
Yeah, we're happy to talk with Eric, however, and it would be the $500,000 budget would be, that alone is a tight one to make the lights and everything work, so we would.
Yeah, I think it was 570 or whatever for the lights, and then he wanted electrical for a concession stand, I guess electrical for the tractor. They need that, I don't know.
That could work as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to work with him on this.
Okay, yeah.
I probably would propose to take that section out and align our request with what Eric and Recreation and Parks are planning.
And that's where, you know, I take it back to just the web form, because if that, you know, maybe we just sign the web form because it is, you know, just for lights and potential for electrical down the road.
I think you get more play out of the field with turf.
You do.
With lights, just because it's a turnaround time.
But we have bad drainage on all the baseball fields, so if it is a heavy rain, you're not paying.
I think it's a one-time opportunity.
I do too.
And it doesn't hurt their request for us to be advocating for more as an outside entity. I do think if we're going to suggest more, we need to put a dollar amount on it, because any legislator is going to ask.
And I don't know that I have that. I mean, I have no idea what a scoreboard would cost, or I would add scoreboard to there, or any of those things.
Other commissioners have questions or comments? Do we have other comments or questions from the public? I do think we need to solve this tonight, because the Senate's going to start hearing their one-time requests next month. And I want it to go, if we're going to send something, it should go before they start their hearings. This is kind of a non-traditional structured, I don't know if we want to vote on the letter, and if folks say no, then we can vote on the web form, perhaps, or
so in the web form,
formal motion.
Yeah, we could sign it as the Clintonville Area Commission, but there's a space below that says notes, and that's, you know, or additional whatever, and that's where I would add this PDF to that, because the web form is already going, but this is really, if this is our request, or we just, one of us fill out the web form, signing it from the commissioners, and we just follow up their request. And that's my conflict on that.
Yeah, Commissioner Wyman.
I would go with something with letterhead.
In the PDF, this would, yeah.
But
So this would be an attachment.
with this PDF, I'm adding that letterhead in our comments, but the web form is their standard letter. It's addressing it to everybody that they want it to go to.
Let's see what they do with web forms.
I mean, we can send it through the web form process, so we're following the NCL requested process, and if we decide to send this letter, we can attach it and also send it to the Columbus area legislative delegation from the area commission. That's no problem. We can do both.
I think that sounds good. That's a good idea. But would they, if we don't have a dollar amount on here, is that gonna kick it out? I mean,
So my understanding is that the senators take this request seriously, they will ask for a dollar amount, and they will also give us a screening form for the request. Having had to do this professionally this week, there will be a one-page request with questions like who is the recipient of the funds, what's the overall project budget, like pretty specific nitty-gritty questions that we would need to fill out once requested.
I just looked right now that, we're now requesting for our library to be updated when it was offered to us years ago and the neighborhood said no.
Right.
And I'm not sure why we keep saying no to improvements. But I feel like, we're not having an opportunity next year or the year after to ask for improvements on these fields. So if this is our one-time request, I think we need to request.
I know Commissioner Lawrence, you expressed that you'd rather go with the NCL.
Just for clarification, if I remember correctly, the capital improvement or capital
One-time strategic
One-time
investment
strategic.
plan. You could just call it ODSCIP. It's a terrible acronym.
So it comes in chunks.
The House has a chunk of money and the Senate has a chunk of money.
And then the chunk of money is for each individual representative or,
It's not quite that, it's like who's in the majority, it's politically determined.
Basically, these requests.
This
are
is
put
an uphill battle.
Yeah. These requests get put together, and then leadership takes a look at it. And basically, leadership side, so.
I'm thinking of just sticking with to avoid confusion, and sticking with it and say, for request for lines, also simply hear that Western Recreation and Parks is not supporting the concession stand.
I hear you. I've heard from a lot of neighbors that want a concession stand, so I am tempted to try for it. And if we were so lucky as to receive the funds as a community, figure out a maintenance plan.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend too long on this. I'm not trying to belabor it.
That's fine.
Do others have thoughts they would like to air? Yeah, Commissioner Miller.
I don't know, it seems like, I kind of agree with Commissioner Moritz and the concession stand, just hearing from Parks and Rec, and, it seems like restrooms in that facility could eat into a lot of that money that could be used for the other more important aspects.
If NCIL received the funds and they only received the 500 and some, they would be able to determine the order of spend down. So they could do the lights first.
Okay.
There wouldn't be forced to do a restroom, yeah. Should we go around and vote whether to go for the big ask? Is that what we should do? Is that, okay. So we're going to vote whether to pursue, this is not just the lights, but the lights plus everything. Yeah, go ahead, Commissioner Marks.
So can we do straw polls or not?
Can we do what?
Straw poll.
A straw poll? Is that in Robert's rules? Do you want to do a show of hands?
I do have one more question though. Do you think asking for a larger amount is gonna somehow impact our chances of success in getting anything? Do you think we have a better chance of getting money if we ask for less?
But this doesn't ask.
I think it opens the discussion. If we don't put the amount, I think it opens the discussion. If we do their web form for their request and include this and send an email that says we want more than that request, we think there's a need in the community.
Yeah.
I think
The web form is asking specifically for the 570 for the lights and the future concession stand electricity. And then this, I am proposing that we add to the bottom in the notes that's like if you wanted to type your own little comment, that this in a PDF form with some minor changes goes along with it from the commission saying that, well, they want this, we'd actually like some more things to those two items.
So the web form will include the dollar amount.
The web form has a dollar amount on it, yes.
So I think it would be helpful then to specify that what we're describing here is going to cost more than what the web form.
I can have that.
Just
Okay, so we're voting on supporting the NCIL request, but broadening it. Commissioner Moritz.
Yes.
Commissioner Miller.
Yes.
Commissioner Kroll.
Yes.
Commissioner Heidley.
Yes.
I am a yes. Commissioner Milata.
Yes.
Commissioner Nutter.
Yes.
Commissioner Lee Osborne.
Yes.
Commissioner Wyman.
Yes.
Thank you very much for your work on this, Commissioner Lee Osborne. If you need any help with submissions, feel free to reach out.
Okay.
We have an agenda item around resolution 2024-1. This could be our first resolution as a commission this year. I'm going to turn it over to Commissioner Kroll to talk about Columbus Harbor Fest.
Yeah, well, we don't have much time. If we're gonna have time for public comment, that's me, and still be out of here at 8:50. So I'm proposing to go ahead and introduce the resolution and read it into the record, and then we'll just have to postpone the discussion, because I think there's gonna be a lot of discussion.
That would allow us to vote on it next month. To clarify, we have to have the first reading in order to vote the following month.
So this resolution is regarding the planning for ArborFest 2024. The Green Spot Committee is planning to partner with the Columbus Recreation and Parks Department to hold ArborFest 2024 at Whetstone Park. In order to issue a permit for the event, Columbus Recreation and Parks is requesting that CAC enter a collaborative agreement that lays out partner responsibilities regarding the event. Note as I go through the resolution that nothing in the proposed agreement is legally binding. We worked that out with the city attorney. Basically, area commissions can't enter into MOUs or any kind of legally binding agreement. This is just an acknowledgement of mutual responsibilities and, to collaborate on this particular project. So I'm going to go ahead and read it into the record, and then if there's time, I'd like Ryan Foshee to make a brief statement. Resolution 2024-01, agreement to collaborate with CRPD for Columbus ArborFest 2024. Whereas Columbus ArborFest 2024 is being planned as a fall festival for tree and native plant lovers, where visitors can learn about nature and enjoy family-friendly activities and programs. Whereas the Clintonville Area Commission's Green Spot Neighborhood Committee is a duly approved committee of the Commission. Whereas the CAC Green Spot Committee is a very active and innovative group committed to promoting environmental quality, improving and celebrating Clintonville's green spaces, including its outstanding tree canopy, and educating the Clintonville community on issues of biological diversity and environmental quality. Whereas the CAC Green Spot Committee seeks to collaborate with Columbus Recreation and Parks Department to bring about Columbus ArborFest 2024. Whereas CRPD requires a collaborative agreement with CAC in order to hold Columbus ArborFest 2024 on the grounds of Whetstone Park, which should contain a delineation of responsibilities for both the CAC Green Spot Committee and CRPD. Whereas CRPD assumes responsibility for 1, reserving 2 open air shelters and 1 enclosed shelter house at Whetstone Park for the event, and 2, promoting the event through CRPD communication channels. Whereas CRPD further agrees to maintain consistent and aligned marketing strategies to ensure that all communications resonate with CRPD's overarching goals and vision. Any marketing or media outreach initiatives shall require a mutual agreement from both parties, subject to CRPD's final approval, promoting a culture of open and transparent communication while respecting confidentiality boundaries. Collaboration within this partnership will be prioritized to achieve mutual support and shared objectives. Therefore, be it resolved by the Clintonville Area Commission, 1, CAC Green Spot Committee shall apply for a special events permit for the event and comply with all permit requirements. 2, CAC Green Spot Committee shall provide at least 1 table for CRPD staff to promote department events, programs, and activities. 3, CAC Green Spot Committee shall provide space and support for CRPD forestry to participate in the event, including forestry vehicles. 4, CAC Green Spot Committee shall allow this event to serve as the CRPD's Urban Forestry Master Plan's annual tree summit. 5, CAC Green Spot Committee shall collaborate with CRPD on the communications, marketing, and outreach responsibilities in Recital 7.
Thank you.
At this point, I'd like Ryan Foshee to give us a brief statement.
I'd love to. Hello and good evening. My name is Ryan Foshee. I'm the co-chair of Clintonville Green Spot, also known as the Green Spot Committee of the Clintonville Area Commission. Our committee is proud of all the sustainability projects that we've undertaken here in the neighborhood. Successful engagement with and partnership in city initiatives has been a hallmark of our committee's work. For example, our partnership with the City of Columbus Green Spot program, so fundamental to our work that it's part of our committee's very identity and our name, has been a wonderful, mutually beneficial, and collaborative effort since the founding of our committee. I'm pleased to have the opportunity tonight to speak about a new partnership. This resolution establishes a new collaboration between CRPD and the Green Spot Committee. It's called Columbus ArborFest. A little context, the Urban Forestry Master Plan, an important municipal plan to protect our trees and provide us with the many benefits that come along with our beautiful trees, explicitly calls out volunteer citizen action as a necessary component for Columbus to be able to succeed in reaching some of the goals of that plan. This plan has been something we've pointed to for years as volunteers as we engage in volunteer activities. For example, the referenceable metric of success of a 40% tree canopy cover as a goal for a healthy urban forest in our city. Whereas Clintonville has a 41% tree canopy cover, the city overall averages significantly lower than 40%. Another goal of the Urban Forestry Master Plan is to have a yearly tree summit. Tonight's resolution establishes Columbus Arborfest in Whetstone Park as that summit. To think that our committee has been able to muster up enough community volunteerism on this scale to help with a major city objective is awesome. This is a great honor for us as a committee, the commission, and Clintonville. It also brings a large-scale event back into the neighborhood, something that many Clintonville residents are excited about. What better than Columbus Arborfest to restart celebrations at our wonderful park, provide wholesome community fun on a late summer/early fall day, and present those important and memorable educational opportunities for Clintonville residents and indeed Columbus residents and beyond. Thank you for your attention and consideration of this exciting opportunity, one that our committee is eager to take on with humility, diligence, and great honor. If approved, Columbus Arborfest 2024 will be a success. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. Tina, would you like to say a few words about CRPD's role in Arborfest?
Sure, I'd be happy to. I'm Tina Moan. I'm with the City of Columbus, the Recreation and Parks Department. I help manage our natural resources, our conservation team, and working with Ryan and the Green Spot Committee. A few things, I'm pinch hitting, so bear with me, but Rosalie Hendon, who generally, I think you all have heard from her a lot from the UFMP standpoint, recently our city code that we passed. So a few things to provide. The resolution is something that's necessary, like Commissioner Call kind of explained. Absent an MOU or any sort of an agreement, we can't really have a partnership, something so strategic as this and that implements like an entire park space. So thinking about what's the next best step, and this is sort of that next best step for our department to enter into this partnership, to have a resolution from the area commission to sort of outline expectations from you all and from us as well. It helps support a ton of what Ryan has said in terms of UFMP and the goals that are surrounding that. This is something we've been wanting to do. So when Ryan was like, is this something you all are interested in? Yeah, of course it is. But thinking about long-term, the commitment long-term that we had in the city and that Clintonville has in the city, and thinking about 22% canopy is sort of the citywide, right now where we're sitting at, you all are at 41%, but still, there's still more to be done, and Whetstone is one of the larger parks that we have more opportunities to plant trees and also promote overall education. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Tina. Are there any questions for Tina or Ryan from the commission at this point?
Is this an annual event, or is this like a one-time, like AmeriCorps, or is this a?
There's a fair amount of talk about it coming, but at this point, there's no plan.
Okay.
You have a question? Maybe I missed this, but what's kind of like the heart of it? Is it educational or entertainment? Or?
It's education is really the heart of it. But there is also a festival atmosphere to it with entertainment and family-friendly activities. But they're all centered around biodiversity and the tree canopy. I guess.
We can, if there are questions from the public,
Yeah.
now on the resolution.
Any questions or comments from the public?
All right, so So if we don't have any further discussion on this item, that was the first reading, and for our bylaws, we will bring it back for a vote during our April meeting, which will be on April 7th. So April 4th. Today's March 7th. So April 4th, we'll vote on this resolution. Do we have any members of the public who wanted to provide additional comment tonight on anything that was not covered? Do we have any commissioners that want to bring anything else up with us for a few minutes? Yeah, Commissioner Hutter, please.
At last night's meeting, Columbia Gas meeting, we talked about trees, and maybe you guys in Green Spot could pay attention to that. When they do their proposal next month, they have agreed to plant 20 trees in Cumberland Park because they're going to be taking down 3 trees on those properties. So if you could follow up on that, just to make sure they follow through with making sure that gets done, that'd be great.
Yes, sir, we know all about that.
Okay. Excellent.
On it.
Okay. Well, this is a very full and quiet room. Thank you everyone for coming. We'll see you April 4th, and we are adjourned.